What's up, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of Game Changers. I'm your host and founder, Jalen Tart, and along with me are my guys, my partners in crime, Joe and Chaz. Welcome back, fellas. So, first of all, this episode is brought to you by One Way Radio and Sportscasters Network. Just recently joined the Sportscasters Network, and we're thankful to be partnered with Sportscasters Network and One Way Radio, hailing from Nashville, Tennessee. Fellas, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, J.J. Watt, fellas, he's out of Houston, signed a 2-year, $30 million deal to the Arizona Cardinals, reunited with DeAndre Hopkins and playing with Kyler Murray. Fellas, everybody's been talking about it. Was a shocker to everybody. So, does this move make the Arizona Cardinals Super Bowl contenders? Joe, you can start it off.
Appreciate it, my man. They are J.J. Watt in that defensive scheme of Arizona now will be fun to watch. I believe him and Chandler Jones is going to do damage next season. But saying Super Bowl contenders, Jalen and Chaz, I'm going to have to say no, because they're heading into the right direction. Don't get me wrong, but saying Super Bowl contenders, I still think is a little too early for that right now, because they're still quite not the best in their division either. Because if you look at that division, you got the Seattle Seahawks, which they don't have a defense. So you got the LA Rams, which they're probably the best team in that division, with the addition of Matthew Stafford as quarterback, and the 49ers, which when healthy, they probably have the best overall team. So saying that they're Super Bowl contenders, Jalen and Chaz, I'm just going to have to say no for right now. But I am excited to see J.J. Watt team up with DeAndre Hopkins again. I believe, it's going to be fun, but they're quite not yet Super Bowl contenders.
Okay, go ahead, Chaz.
Yeah, I'm going to say that for now, I'm going to say they're contenders, but they're not front runners. To me, there's going to be a difference when you look at a team like Kansas City or Tampa Bay or even Green Bay. Those are front runners in my eyes, but I saw the Cardinals as a contender last year too, before they kind of fell off near the end of the year. Kyler Murray's development is going to be huge for that. And also you got to keep in mind that while J.J. Watt's a great player, he's getting closer to the tail end of his career. So while, yes, it's a big name and a big star, first ballot Hall of Famer, obviously, we might not see the same production that we saw during his 3 MVP seasons or defensive player of the year seasons. Also, I think the Rams are a better team. So while, yes, it's hard to say you're a contender if you're not the best team in your division, I just see that as the best division in football. So if Kyler Murray can develop and that defense is as good as we think it will be, I say contenders, but not to the caliber of Kansas City and Tampa.
I'm going to have to say no. I'm going to have to agree with you both. I'm going to have to say no. Yes, this is a big upgrade for the Arizona defense. Hands down. Chandler Jones averaging 97 sacks since 2012, along with J.J. Watt averaging 95 and a half sacks since 2012. That's huge. That's going to be a problem in the NFC West, correct? The NFC West with San Francisco, who's going to be contenders if Jimmy Garoppolo comes back, or if they can get Deshaun Watson to come there, along with Deebo Samuel, Nick Bosa on the defensive end with those boys. The Rams having Aaron Donald and now having Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp and those boys. But I think what will make them more elite is that they have an established wide receiver core along with DeAndre Hopkins, because it's only DeAndre Hopkins on one side of the ball with Kyler Murray. We all know Kyler Murray is a stud. He can play. He just needs one more weapon on that offensive core to make them Super Bowl contenders. But with that being said, their defense has improved. I think it is suspect with their coach. getting the job there. I forgot the name off the top of his head. Correct me if I'm wrong. The most headlines he's gotten was his crib during the NFL draft last year. I mean, that's a fancy house that he has in Arizona. But can he coach? Can he coach J.J. Watt on the tail end of his career to make a deep Super Bowl run in that division? Now, if they do make it out of their division, they got to go up against New Orleans. They got to go up against Tampa Bay. They got to go up against all of these other teams in the NFC. So it's going to be quite hard. And not to think about it, I hate saying this, but I have to say this. I personally believe that Dallas will make it out of the division over the New York Giants. That's if the New York Giants can have a successful running game and Daniel Jones can elevate his game. I think Daniel Jones will take the same route as Baker Mayfield as what he did last year with Kevin Stefanski and improve his game, but they both have to stay healthy. That was the defense with Joe Judge, phenomenal. I just think with Dak coming back off of this injury, he's going to be a hard player to stop if they pay him his money. But that'll be another topic we'll jump into later in the show.
Well, let me tell both of y'all something. I'm because you got me started there. Okay, listen. Yes, Dak is going to come back strong. I mean, he's been good before he got injured, but the Dallas Cowboys only won one game with him. Well, yeah, one game with him. So saying that, Jalen, I disagree. The top two in the NFC East is my New York Football Giants and the Washington Football Team for right now, because they have, if we just add a wide receiver one for Daniel Jones, and if everybody just can create separation, then yeah, we'll be straight. And we have to think about if we're going to keep Leonard Williams or Dalvin Tomlinson. I'm fine either way. And with Chaz, I'm going to have to disagree with you saying that they're contenders, because you can't really be contenders if you're the third best team in your division. When healthy, 49ers and the not Seattle and the Los Angeles Rams are the top two teams in that division when healthy. We haven't even seen J.J. Watt playing with them yet. And I'm not saying that, Matthew Stafford is going to stand out, but I'm just saying the caliber quarterback that Matthew Stafford is, I already know he's going to do pretty good with LA. So I can't say that they're contenders when they're about the third best team in that division. Even though that's the best team in football, they, in my eyes, or how I see it, they're the third best team in that division.
But you got to think about it. Most of their games was one-score games from last year. They were competing with Kyler Murray and DeAndre.
Exactly.
So that division is very loaded. I mean, once you add J.J. Watt and another wide out along with DeAndre Hopkins, they can compete with anybody. We're gonna get to the Russel Wilson segment in a
Joe.
Your Chaz.
I get what you're saying about like being the third best team in their division, but in other divisions with like Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland, it's the same thing. So it's kind of like I feel like all three teams can be contenders, because when you look at how close their divisional records will be, if they're beating each other up, it's going to be close, and those divisions will be decided by one or two games. I think you could be the third best team in your division by one game. You could get one score game, and then you're third in the division. I don't think you can count them out just for that, because if you have, say, 3 top 10, top 15 teams in the league, they're all three contenders in my eyes, because it's going to be very close. If they play each other as close as they typically do, it'll be tough. That's the same thing with Cleveland, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. Yeah, and then
okay, I gotta stop you right there. That division is gonna be a good division too, because Joe Burrow is coming back, and then you got Joe Burrow in the back
exactly.
Yeah. So both of those divisions are gonna be stacked. I'm just worried about we're going off subject here, but I'm just worried about if Big Ben comes back, will they have an established running game for the Pittsburgh Steelers? That's my main concern coming into next season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
So we're gonna move on. We're gonna stay in the NFC West. Russell Wilson has been making headlines all week. People have been saying that he might be leaving. People saying that he might stay because of what's been going on with management. So, Chaz, I'm gonna start with you here. Do you think Russell Wilson is gonna leave? And if he does leave, what team do you see him going to?
Yeah, for a long time, I really wanted to say no. Just knowing Russell Wilson and just the presence he has with interviews and with reporters, he's always seemed to me like someone who is very, very loyal to the Seahawks. You know, very, very motivated to bring them back to a Super Bowl until this offseason. He's been relatively quiet until this year with voicing his complaints. But the more and more I think about it, and the more I hear, I can really see him leaving. And with the league almost being a players' league like the NBA, I can see him along with a lot of other quarterbacks and a lot of other big name players wanting to continue to leave where they're at. They don't protect him. They can't really do anything about it either. They don't have any first round picks after the Jamal Adams trade. There's nothing you can really draft to protect him. The division got a lot harder too. You look at Watt, Matt Stafford. They could be the third, fourth best team in the division, you know? Mm-hmm. And looking at where he could go, you know, obviously he has his preferred list with the Raiders, Saints, the Bears, and the Cowboys. I could really see him going to Chicago. You look at a franchise that hasn't had a quarterback presence. I mean, if you want to count Jay Cutler, but that's nowhere near the caliber that Russell Wilson is. They're a historic culture, you know, way back. They've gone way back as one of the most historic franchises. And for him to be the guy, obviously replacing Trubisky, it would be an ideal situation in the sense that he could add so much to his legacy. If he could bring Chicago a Super Bowl, that's key. That's crucial to a legacy of a player of that caliber. Already a Hall of Famer, but I could see him really wanting to take on that challenge and go to Chicago.
Yeah. For right now, when, you know, it's going crazy in Seattle, but for some reason, I just don't see him leaving this year. I believe he will leave in the future, in the foreseeable future. But for right now, I just don't see him leaving. But I do agree with Chaz. You know, the with the team that he selected, the Chicago Bears, if he did left, because if you know, Russell Wilson left and he went to Dallas, basically what's the difference there? I mean, both offensive lines need help. I mean, ever since Travis Frederick, the former center for the Dallas Cowboys, left or retired, their O-line just stink, and both defenses stink. So that's why, you know, if he did left, I don't see how, you know, he can go to the Cowboys when basically you're going to have the same situation. So with the Raiders, I can see that as well if he did left, even though I don't see him leaving right now. So yeah, I do agree with Chaz and you know, seeing him with Chicago. But for right now, I'm going to have to say no. I don't see Russell Wilson leaving after, let's say, in about a good 2 years he might leave. But right now, I don't see him leaving.
I'll give it a year instead of 2. I'll give it a year. This will put the whole organization on the hot seat. Chaz, I have to respectfully disagree with the team. The only reason why I don't say Chicago is because of the offensive line. Yes, you have offensive weapons in Allen Robinson, but I personally think Allen Robinson is going to leave Chicago. That's if Russell Wilson doesn't go to Chicago. But the offensive line, I think with the Cowboys and the Bears, they lack the offensive line. I'm more likely to see him going to the New Orleans Saints. I say New Orleans because they're in a division with the Buccaneers, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Carolina Panthers. You have Tom Brady in that division. That's a good division right there with Tom Brady in it, even though he's on the tail end of his career. You also got to think about Jameis Winston is there too. What better role model to look up to for Jameis than Russell Wilson? You already won 2 Super Bowls. right? You set all these records in Seattle, and then you're going and you with head coach Sean Payton with a great offensive line, a great running game. The defense does need to be tweaked a little bit, but when they get tweaked, yes, they will be contenders. But I have to give it 1 year. If you can up the defense in 1 year and draft a defensive piece to that the Seattle Seahawks defense, you're gonna be straight. And they gotta draft tackles because you already know that offensive line is terrible. It's beyond garbage. But I personally see him leaving in the next year and going to the New Orleans Saints with Sean Payton and Jameis Winston.
I don't see him with the Saints because I don't think Saints have any money for Russell Wilson right now. Saints is like their cap space is just dead. Like they don't have any money for Russell Wilson. I do like that, you know, seeing Russell Wilson going to New Orleans or whatever. But if he leaves, I think his best fit could probably be with either Las Vegas or Chicago, because even though Chicago don't have a great old line, if they franchise tag Allen Robinson and keep him, that can help Russell Wilson saying that, okay, I got one good target and I can revolve around the rest of my targets, just like how he doing in Seattle with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, those type of guys. But the reason why I disagree with the New Orleans Saints because they just don't have money right now. Their cap space is just dead. So that's why I disagree with the New Orleans thingy. But everything else you said was pretty good.
I think what it is too, if you do send Mitchell Trubisky to Seattle, that will help his career in regards of touchdown ratios and passing yard ratios, because you still have DK Metcalf there. All you have to do is get an O-line to protect him with Mitchell Trubisky. That's if he improves. Now, for the season that he had, despite them going to the playoffs, it was up and down. It could have been better, but he can't digress. He can't be Carson Wentz, where you was good 1 year and you digress for 2 years. Can't be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward now to the next topic. So the NBA is reaching to the All-Star game, the halfway point of the season. So fellas, Joe, I'm gonna pitch it to you here. Which team is playing the best basketball right now in the NBA?
I'm going to have to say I know Utah is doing pretty good, but I'm going to have to say the Brooklyn Nets. James Harden has been the best basketball player in the month of February. That's just hands down. The only one that I put in that category with James Harden is probably Luka Doncic, Bradley Beal, or even Damien Lillard. But for right now, James Harden has been the best basketball player in my eyes. Without KD, James Harden and Kyrie Irving just, that duo has just been unstoppable. And when KD comes back, that's just going to be a title run.
14 against 500 against teams above 500, by the way.
Yeah, against like good teams too. And then James Harden going back to Houston. They play Houston Rockets tonight. But he had almost, I think he had 5 triple doubles. I didn't look into that, but he just been a contributor for the Brooklyn Nets. And I'm just happy to see him balling out like he did in Houston, which I knew he would. So that's why I said the Brooklyn Nets are playing the best basketball right now. And James Harden is the best basketball player in the NBA right now. And in the month of February, he was.
Okay, so if we're talking teams, I really got to say playing the best basketball right now would be the Phoenix Suns. You look at just the progressions of Devin Booker. Obviously, should have been all-star starter in my mind, easily. That team's doing really, really good things. They're second in the West now. And when Chris Paul got traded there, I like them improving. I like them getting a lot better, but I would have never said second in the West. So that was surprising for me. They're outperforming at least my expectations, and I really think Devin Booker this year, not having to do everything has made a big difference, and I think they're the hottest team right now. But if we're to talk who's playing the best basketball as a player, I think Steph Curry's shooting lights out right now. He's been playing great basketball. They're the 8th seed, but he's having to do a lot more without Clay. So I think that's a team to look for in the future when Clay comes back. But yeah, Phoenix Suns playing the best basketball right now.
Interesting takes here. I do like the Suns. On the show, I have been giving praise to Monty Williams for stepping up. They've been having their foot on the gas ever since the bubble performance. They started out 10-8, and they've been winning ever since that break. But I gotta go with the Philadelphia 76ers here. With Joel Embiid playing MVP basketball right now, along with Ben Simmons, it's kind of like the two members of the Fighting Temptations of the Fighting Temptations and the rest of them. It's like Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and the shooters. It's like a whole group that we're seeing right now. But the shooters that they have acquired, they're shooting lights out on the perimeter. Lights out. Seth Curry was a great asset. Danny Green was a great asset. I personally thought that the Dwight Howard trade was going to be trash. But Dwight Howard is showing that he can still play Dwight Howard basketball. But I will mind you, though, the three-headed snake Brooklyn Nets is coming for the 76ers first place now. Because, my Lord, when Kevin Durant comes back, it's a whole 40-piece chicken McNugget right there that he's going to be getting every night. Just going to be eating them every day. But just to go back to it, Joel Embiid is playing great basketball. I mean, just phenomenal basketball. Ben Simmons, yes, you got to perfect your three-point shot, but the way that you're just getting players involved and getting that well-oiled machine with Doc Rivers, fun basketball to watch. Very good basketball to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Trash. Oh, okay.
Hey.
Yeah, 76ers are hot, but I know you're probably gonna look at me wrong. Well, hands down, I think Joel Embiid is probably going to be MVP. But to be honest, I cannot say this.
I don't know.
I could not say that the 76ers are the best team in the East right now. Because I mean, the record is they're first with the record and stuff. But if we just look at it here, with Brooklyn just without Kevin Durant, and they can still put up great numbers with James Harden and Kyrie and the rest of that team, they're the best team in the East right now, hands down. Mm-hmm. And when Kevin Durant comes back, he's just gonna, like you said, it's gonna be a 40-piece McNugget.
And then here's the thing though. I didn't mean to cut you off, Joe.
No, you good.
They don't have Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah. Exactly.
People forgot about that. They don't have Spencer Dinwiddie. So when both of those players come back, it's over. It's over.
It's definitely over for the East. And to Chaz, I can see why you say Steph, but Steph has been in a slump lately. Like Steph haven't been shooting his three ball well. I'm a big Warriors fan, and I'm not saying that since Kevin Durant. I've been a fan since 2013, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But nevertheless, Steph Curry just been in a slump. He's gonna get his shot back because Clay has been in this slump in 2019 too. And I know he's going to just get that shot back. So that's why I put James Harden as a player. But I see why you said Steph Curry, because you know, with his production, he just insane.
I agree. Yeah. My second pick would have been Joel Embiid too, though. That's what I would have said after that. Just like with Doc Rivers, I feel like Doc Rivers has done a lot for him. He's thriving right now. He's healthy too, and that's a big thing for him. Mm-hmm. And he's really, I think Doc Rivers has a lot to do with it, and I think people should pay attention to that a little bit more. But yeah, once KD comes back, the Nets are obviously they're dangerous.
Mm.
Heavy favorite. I think the only team that could really stop them would be the Lakers if the Lakers are healthy.
I don't
But-
see it. For right now, I don't see it the way they're playing right now.
But that's when AD and Dennis Schroeder was out too.
I personally think that the Utah Jazz defensively could stop them because they have a rim protector in Rudy Gobert. They have a dominant stud in Donovan Mitchell, and their bench with Jordan Clarkson dropping 30 plus off the bench. That's huge, and people don't see it like that. People saying the
That's
Lakers,
6 minutes right there.
but people be saying the Lakers because they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It takes everybody. It doesn't take those players. I personally think that the Utah Jazz right now has the best chance of dethroning the Brooklyn Nets if they make it to the finals. But we're gonna move on and switch gears here. So we're gonna go to another segment called "Who You Got." We're gonna go into the MLB World Series. So Chaz, who do you have going to the MLB World Series for 2021 this year?
Well, for me, the heavy favorite, it's not a hot take, would be the LA Dodgers. I mean, the talent's there through the roof. They signed Trevor Bauer, reigning Cy Young winner. They're loaded. They're loaded with all-stars. Future Hall of Famers. It's almost like a Kansas City Chiefs kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They're loaded to the top. It's not a very controversial. It's not a very hot take, but for me, that talent. I mean, they were on pace to win 116 games last year near the end of the season. For me, it's a no-brainer until someone else shows me something.
Well, I'm going to have to reverse something for you, Chaz. I was going to go with the LA Dodgers too. But if y'all don't know me, I am a big New York Yankees fan. And I'm going to have to say them because we signed some big names in free agency as well. Mm-hmm. The only thing with the New York Yankees is that we have a thing with choking. Like we choke a lot and during, big times in the spotlight, I mm-hmm. shall say. But this year, for some reason, I just have a feeling that we're going to turn it around. We have one of the best pitching, in my opinion. We probably have a top 10 pitching rotation. I think, Aaron Judge is going to play at an MVP type level, just like he did in his rookie season. So I'm going to have to say the New York Yankees.
Okay. I do like the Dodgers. With Clayton Kershaw, Mookie Betts, and the signing, the play that you were saying, Chaz. The Yankees, yes, Aaron Judge is that player, MVP calibers. They signed DJ LeMahieu to a 6-year, $90 million deal, and Garrett Cole's coming back. But I got one. It's one team. I wanted to say the Braves, but yes, they're a choke job too. But I got to go with the San Diego Padres here. My Lord, I got to go with the San Diego. The watching them last year was very fun to watch. Amazing. Blake Snell from the Rays coming there, and then you got Yu Darvish from the Cubs coming there. The only downside to this is not having Mike Clemenger, who had 46 strikeouts last year. But he's out due to Tommy John surgery. But man, when they come back in 2022, they're gonna be a tough team to beat. They're gonna be a tough team. But I do like the Dodgers and the Yankees, hopefully going to the MLB World Series. We're going to move on to quick pitch because of time. So, fellas, what player do you think can score 100 points in a game? I put this on my personal social media page this week. Gotten a lot of responses. But, fellas, I wanted to hear from you. It doesn't matter who starts first on this debate right here.
All right. I'll just go ahead and say it. I believe it came down to two players, Damien Lillard or Steph Curry. But I'm going to have to say Steph Curry because if he's shooting lights out and just say if he played like a full game of basketball, the whole 48 minutes, I just believe he could be that player to score 100 points in a game. But that's just my quick take on it. I think Steph Curry.
Okay. Chaz?
Yeah, for me, it came down to 3 players, Devin Booker, Curry, and Lillard. And for me, I got to say Devin Booker. I mean, he's the one who's been the closest to it, lately. So that for me, that's a no-brainer. I think he has the potential any night to put up huge numbers. But all 3 of those players to me could do it. So any of those 3.
There is one man that leads the NBA in scoring, averaging what, 40 plus right now? Bradley Beal. This man, Bradley Beal, I mean, good Lord. This man is a one-man band wrecking crew. I don't just understand how you score 46 consecutively and still lose. He's on track. I mean, it's going to be a night to where he might score 81. He might score 86. I don't know. But
he almost did it when he scored 70 against Boston a couple years ago.
I mean, Devin Booker scored 70 last year. Against
Wait, was it last
year? Yeah, it was last year. It was last year. I mean, Devin Booker is right behind him. I mean, look, Devin Booker to me is like the reincarnation of Kobe before our eyes. The way this man can score out of so many ways is ridiculous. Damien Lillard I don't want to say he perfected the logo shot because more importantly, that's a Steph Curry type of shot. But when it comes to close games, shooting at that range, I got to give it to Damien Lillard. People been saying LeBron, no. LeBron's not the type of person to do stuff like that. He's trying to help his team.
Yeah, most definitely not.
He's not trying to score on people. He just want to help his team win. That's just how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to move on to the last quick pitch topic. Is Dak Prescott a $40 million quarterback in the NFL?
Right now, no.
Okay.
Coming off a big injury, that's something if I were signing a player to a big deal, I'm not concerned that he's gonna come back and not be a good player, but I feel like if this deal were to have been done, it should have been done 2 years ago when it started being a whole ordeal about whether or not they were gonna pay him his money. I don't think he's anywhere near, Patrick Mahomes' money. Because he wants to be in that ballpark, and I don't think as a player, if you're 6-11 in your last 17 games, he was 1-3 last year, 8-8 in 2019. I don't think at this moment in time he should be getting $40 million. I found an interesting statistic there. The Cowboys are 10-17 when he throws 35 times or more, and 4-10 when he throws the ball over 40 times. And when you compare it to they're 13-1 when he throws less than 25 times. I just don't see him getting. I don't see him getting $40 million right now, just after everything that's gone on. I think it's a little too late for all that.
Yeah. I have to agree with you, Chaz. Heck no, he doesn't. He doesn't deserve $40 million a year. I just believe he haven't really been that X factor quarterback since his rookie and sophomore year with the Dallas Cowboys. So I agree, he's not a $40 million quarterback. I mean, he can make some great plays and throw down the field and stuff like that, but heck no, that man ain't no $40 million quarterback, and that's just my take.
I gotta agree. I believe he's like a 25 because you know how players be when you pay them so much one year and they don't do good the next year. I feel like that's gonna happen if Jerry Jones decides to do that. I think this whole situation is taking too long. They should have been paid him 2 years ago. I mean, after what he was doing, it didn't have to take for him to get hurt for him to get his money. But he deserves to get paid. I don't think he deserves a franchise tag. I think he deserves at least a 2 to 3 year deal with that type of money because quarterbacks are being overpaid. They're
Exactly.
a team or whatnot. But this all revolves around Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones wants to do it on his time. We're moving on his time. They're taking forever with it. I think it's gonna be a whole nother week because the deadline is March the 9th, which is next week. If they don't get this deal done by March the 9th, there will be hell to pay. People will go crazy over this deal, especially them Dallas Cowboys fans, the beloved Dallas Cowboys fans, excuse me. I mean, it's just ridiculous at this point. More importantly, you got to invest into an offensive line to protect this man, first of all, instead of worrying about him getting paid. Because we can't afford him to get hurt like how he got hurt last year. You got to have offensive weapons. You got to have a defense. That's just my point. That's just my take on that. Mike McCarthy needs to improve. If he doesn't improve this year, he will be on the hot seat in his third year. And that's just my take on that. This is my personal take.
I agree.
Fellas, that will do it for this edition of Game Changers. We'll hope to see y'all next week. And this episode is sponsored by Sportscasters Network and One Way Radio. We'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace, y'all.
Peace.